All right. Hello, everybody. We are live, I believe. Yeah, yeah. Hi. Good evening or day, whatever time it is for you. Um, Trying to fix my little camera here. I have it. It's a little webcam that you hook to the top of your computer, except I have it on the top of my easel. So it's a little kind of stopgap measure there to have my camera set up. Anyway, continuing what I was working on in the last stream, which I finished pretty much to the portrait portion of this painting to where I'm happy, and I've been working on doing some lettering. Some very imperfect hand lettering, which is very appropriate for what we're doing here. This is a 24 by 24 inch canvas. Oh, and I am Lynell Ingram. I am an artist with a background in illustration and design. I have been working as a fine artist for about a year and a half, like kind of dedicated. So yes, thank you for joining me on my stream. I stream twice a week. Normally it is Monday evenings, like today, like right now, 7 p.m. on Mondays, and Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. and that's Central Time. So please, feel free to jump in on any of the streams, say hi and chat. Everybody's welcome, and it's just a chill time to work on things or just hang out and relax. Just have it on the background, do what you want to do, whatever works. So thank you for joining me. Anyway, enough chat. Normally, I make a tea before my evening stream. I'm a coffee drinker, but at night I'll make a tea. But today, it's very hot in here, so I have a very refreshing, out of the refrigerator sparkling water. So, still fancy. Anyway, okay. So, I'm going to be mixing, pretty much trying to match the tone of the color that I have going on this text here. So I need to mix that up, and I used a decent amount last time to get a good flow of the acrylic paint. It's acrylic painting. I'm using a matte fluid medium, which really helps get a nice flow to get like smooth brush strokes when you're trying to do lettering. I'm not an expert at hand lettering, but it's just something that I wanted to incorporate into this piece, so I'm kind of having fun with it and letting it be all over the board. Also, if you enjoy this stream and you want to jump on to any in the future, they usually run about 2 hours, and be sure to subscribe and hit notifications so you know when we are going. All right, so titanium white first of all. That's the first one. That is the wrong lid. Okay. Arrowset, hello. Good morning from Mount Potato. Currently cooking Everest of mashed taters for a tuna bake. Nice. Painting looks amazing so far. Kind of blows me away. Well, thank you. You were very kind. At first I thought that Mount Potato might actually be the place, and I had to pause for a moment, but you're kind of rocking the what is the movie? Oh no, my brain's gonna start sputtering on me. Third of the Third Kind. The potatoes. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, this means something. That's all I got. Close Encounters. That's it. That's what I was trying to pull out of my hat. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Potato Mountain. Anyway. That's where my brain goes. I am using, I just put a tiny bit of, I'm using a little cup to mix my paints in, so I have a decent amount to work with. And I have a little bit of Payne's Gray on the side for the white that I'll be mixing in, and then yellow oxide is my second color, and I'm fairly certain that is all that I used when I mixed this tone originally. So I'm gonna start blending it up now. I just have a cheapo little plastic palette knife that I can use for that. And see, cup is a cool technique. Yeah, Yes, I should make a tater mountain and then bring all the mud and dirt into my house. You know, you gotta start somewhere. I use sometimes cups like this because it helps to keep the paint. So if I'm mixing a decent amount of this white paint, this whitish paint, and I'm not gonna finish maybe what I want to use it for today, I can just put a lid on this and it should stay pretty wet for me, at least for a little while. Like I've gotten a few weeks out of paint that I've used this technique with. Just leave it in a closed container, nice and airtight, and it will stay. Now, if you use any water in it with acrylic, you can potentially see some mold. I've had that happen in a wet palette before. Probably let it sit a little longer than it should have, but kind of was just figuring it out. Just about got it. I think that I overdid it on the saturation. I need a hair more white. Let's go back to the white in here. That should get me about where I need to be, and I can start adding my medium. But yeah, so I'm gonna have plenty of the color. If I don't get it done today, which I don't should, I think, unless I start losing my mind trying to do straight lines and stuff and dragging my hand through it and having everything start imploding on me like it did last time, if I recall. Getting paint all over myself, spilling things in like the last 10-15 minutes. It's just like, all right, it's time to walk away. But assuming I don't lose it, we should be good. And I don't see any particular thing going on in the world right now that should necessarily make me lose it. I think that's good. I think we got it. All right. Got some medium in here, a decent amount of that. The paint carries a decent amount of that without losing a lot of saturation if you're using decent paints. It's like if you're using student grade paints, which is like some of the basic entry level stuff, which is absolutely perfectly great for learning from. The biggest difference, one of the biggest differences, I think, as far as I understand it, is just the amount of pigment. Yeah, it's especially one of my streams. There's always got to be some chaos. I think the biggest difference is going to be the amount of pigment in the paint. Your studio or artist grade, professional grade ones are going to have more pigment than your student grade. But I think it's perfectly fine to get when you're just playing around, learning, trying things, experimenting. Don't ever feel bad for doing what you can when it comes to art supplies, because, you know, shitty expensive. We all know it. Okay. So this is about what I've ended up with for my paint quantity. I got still some on the sides, but I'm not too worried about that because I sort of was pulling from what I put on there to get the right mixture. And let me see here. Let's get the brush out. How tiny do we want it to go? Maybe not that tiny. Okay. I don't have like a proper liner brush for my acrylic paints, so I'm going to use, I got this little, I could get the camera to see it and focus on it a little, kind of, maybe. Maybe not. This is a number 2 sable-haired, it is a filbert, right? Is that the right word? I'm questioning myself constantly. I got student grade acrylics and my black has a blue base, but that's what you get for being cheap. Well, that's not necessarily, it depends on the black you buy. Which black is it? There are blacks that literally have a blue base to them, and you might want that specifically. This isn't like the Zorn palette. Like if you were working with that, you want your black to have that blue base to it. But I often use like a Payne's Gray, which is sort of that. It's sort of like a more blued hue of almost black. And that's what I always use. I often use in place of just using a regular black. I could actually use a little bit more white. All right. One more minor adjustment. Jim, hello. Welcome, welcome tonight. Working on getting my paint mixed properly. Getting there. Hearing neighbors doing something upstairs. Okay. There we go. That'll do. I spent some time again today working on cleaning up my my mineral spirits jar that I use for when I'm working with oil paints, which was a big pain. And I've realized that there is something that I distinctly don't love about working with oil paints, and that's that everything ends up with that like sticky oil film on it. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean? It's just quite I don't know. I don't love that element of it. I don't want things to be sticky. I don't want to handle stuff like that. It's fine. It's fine. I'll get over it. Just one of those things. And one of those things that means that I can't, like, slack off. Sticky oil film. Oh, so like the dudes in your high school? Ah, nicely played. I like that. Yeah. So I'm starting out kind of going back and just like kind of tweaking a few letters that I already painted. I don't want anything to be too regular. Where's the fun in that? And I have gone and looked up every possible way and idea for building your own mall stick. Which I'm finally remembering that's the word because I have to associate it with something. So I'm literally associating it with a shopping mall, but it works. So mall stick, that's the word. I watched some different videos of people building them in a few different ways. And I'm going to, probably tomorrow, I have to leave the house to appointments and whatnot, so stop at the craft store, get myself a wooden dowel, and the makings for having a proper doll stick, because, tell you what, it's surprisingly helpful. I still remember the burn scent of Lynx Africa. As if that would help. Oh my. You learned how, Jim, you learned how to MIG weld today. That's awesome. Is that at the makerspace also? That place seems amazing if that's so. That's really cool. I can remember being a kid and my dad needing to weld stuff and helping him. But that only ever consisted of me being allowed to hold something. I never got to actually try to weld anything, and kind of wish I did, but that was a long time ago, and it was probably wise of him to you know, take my age into consideration on what I can handle when it comes to things burning. See, now this is where I'm going to get in trouble. Working your way up. When I hold my hand like this. This is how I make a mess. And don't plan what I'm doing That's how I roll, though. Go on a limb sometimes, see what happens. Try not to wreck things on purpose. Wrecking things can be overrated. Yes, set your makerspace. Learn just enough to start practicing, or just enough to get into trouble. But either way, sounds like fun. Can't wait to see how this mall stick works out. I don't know anything about them. Last stream, I was literally just grabbing this old, like, cell phone tripod selfie stick thing to use in place of it. It's pretty great for if you're working on something and, well, like what I do here, what I'm doing here, where I'm working, where my hand's gonna be over where I put wet paint. So you can kind of have the stick on the top of your easel or canvas and lean your hand against the stick that floats outwards. And like hold your hand steady, but also keep you from dragging your hand through the wet paint. I said that like that as a reminder to myself. Chaos. What do you, I'm curious about what, for Jim with the welding. Is there something, like a project in particular that you're going to use that for, or do you have something in mind? There's so many directions that could go. Yeah, I felt it. It was wet. The steadiness makes a lot of sense when you're trying to do detail and not press your hand on the canvas. So hard to do. So true. Some people remark to me, "Do you live here now?" Oh, at the makerspace, yeah. Would that be so wrong? And a place where people are in a community area, all doing creative things of all different kinds. Isn't that kind of place that you'd want to live? I know I would. Okay, I don't know if I'm trying not to put my hand right in the way of the camera. Danny, hello. Hello, hello. You came in late today, not by much. I've only just started painting a few minutes ago. Just making messes over here. It is a cooler day, but it is so humid. I have just been dying. I have my fan cranking because I know also with putting on the lights in here, that adds a lot of heat too. The saving grace of doing this with acrylic paint is it does dry very quickly. So it makes it quite easy to go back in and fill in areas that are more transparent than you want them to be without having to wait hours or days to come back to it. It is a blessing and a curse. Don't know specifically what I will make, but it could be woodworking related. Ooh. Interesting. Interesting. Just kind of still tweaking right now before I move on to the next line of text. I saw a couple movies over the weekend. I saw the Red Door, the new Insidious movie. It was not bad. I liked it. I liked that they used it as an opportunity to talk about the trauma, how instead of just, let's do what we did in the previous movie before, like, how would the fallout of that affect people? I like that element of it. By and large, enjoyed it. Nice today, not in the triple digits. Oh, yes, you are. Being in Texas, quite hot. And here I am complaining because it's 68 and humid. Before I forget, I go back to watch older streams and your videos buffer and do a weird loading thing. I don't know if it's your video specific. I have it with no other video and it's, It's not your regular ones, just the live streams. Can't watch them because they won't load after a point. Tried on different PC phones, etc. Okay, interesting. I don't know why that would happen. Being that they are already recorded, I'm gonna guess that it has to do with maybe what server they're hosted on versus where you're accessing them. I'm not really certain why that would be the case. I can try to look into it and see if I can learn anything. And it could also be they are long too. It's 60 degrees, you're jealous. I know, it's cool, but the humidity is always just what makes me feel really gross and awful. Yeah, how good was the Red Door? Going back to the OG roots, even the OG actors with their sons. Yeah, and actually the father, the actor Patrick Wilson, he directed the movie. That was his directorial debut, which was kind of cool. Okay, wasn't sure if it was just me. If you don't find the issue, it's just me, so ignore me. It might, I don't know that it's like you specifically, but it could just be like a location issue. I don't know, and I don't take my word for that, but I will dig around and see if I can find out anything. I wanted to mention it, so you said go back and watch live, but it doesn't work. Yeah. Morbid, hello! Looking great, sorry I was gone. Yes, it's been a while. How are you? 68 degrees. Nick enters chat. Yeah, I like it cool. Like 60s is really good for me normally, but for some reason humidity always just, I don't know, getting old, I guess. The weather just makes me feel gross. I guess. Okay. Okay. At some point, I'm gonna go back to the rest of this word and add some more, like, little flourishes like I did for these little lines here. Just in a very arbitrary fashion, but I'm not gonna drag my hand across any more wet paint than I need to. We're just gonna start moving along. Okay. I think mostly fine with what I've got started on these two. Let's see. It's gotta be weird. You're probably getting like a close-up of my concentrating face, like when I'm leaning in, and I don't know. I'll try to avoid making weird faces. Like people when they play guitar, like I might do that, I don't know. Nobody's ever pointed it out to me. I'm usually just painting in my studio. The only other movie I saw besides The Red Door this week, because, you know, you gotta round it out with something really terrible, was Dracula 3. So, a follow-up to Wes Craven's Dracula 2000, I think it was, which was not good, but oh boy, that was... It was bad. It was really bad. Like, hard to watch bad. Yeah, Rutger Hauer playing Dracula. He's in the movie for all of 10 minutes at the very end. Bad writing, not great acting. Felt like a TV Buffy episode or something, and ironically, it actually referenced Buffy. Sorry if I don't talk too much. I'm cooking right now. Fine, moved away from Michigan and got a husband now. Well, congratulations for all the life changes. Congratulations. And cooking is allowed. Okay, all right. Ready to move on to new letters. I think I'm gonna lose the chair. Okay, how much am I covering them? You know what, I'm thinking about swapping some things around in here. So where my computer is now, I'm gonna put where my painting is now. And then on the desk where my computer is, have that more set up for like my painting streaming area. And I think that might actually solve some problems. Or not problems, but inconveniences. And then the camera can be on this side of me when I'm painting more easily, instead of my arm being in the way. Theoretically, this could happen at any time. Make that change. We will see. Okay. Here we go. The worst part about using a very tiny brush like this is the bristles are quite short, so it doesn't hold a lot, and I have to reload it quite often. Oh my lord. There goes the light. See, that's another thing. All the wires are like right in front of me. Everything's dangerous. Everything's in risk of being painted on or spilled on or knocked over. And that will probably never change. Yeah, it might exactly solve my knocking over the mic as well as lights and anything else. And that would be terrific. Ever checked out Feng Shui on YouTube? I had a brief blast of it a few months ago. There are some basic layout guidelines that are super helpful for me, that I throw that idea out there. I will check it out. Nothing will solve knocking the mic. It's true. I mean, I just am who I am, and you gotta accept it. Yeah, I will check that out. I had redone my studio like early summer, late spring, early summer. Like did a whole video about resetting it up. So it's sort of like you live and you work in it for a while once you do that with the best planning possible, and then you realize that some things could change. Now, the only issue with moving my computer over here is that this is not actually like a table or a desk, it's actually a bookcase on its side, so there's nowhere for my legs to go, which is fine. I just crack my knees on it a lot, you know. Tripping on tripods, same. That's what I just did with the light that's right behind me. How have real been? Storyboard thing, what I had going on with that has been put on pause. So that's sort of up to the folks I was working with. Other than that, it's been... What's been going on in my life? Mostly just showing up on here and making art, scraping by. That's all I can remember anyway. Feng Shui helps with understanding batching areas for use, while keeping flow and easy movement through. Yeah, and that's so important if you have a tiny space like I do. And that's part of the issues I have with the chaos that happens, is because you're trying to accommodate a lot of different tasks in a small area, and it can get a little nuts. Like, I definitely still don't have like a big work area where I could easily do packing orders or spread out and really work on a project. By switching these workspaces, the computer with what I'm an art area over here, that would expand that a little bit. But it would be nice to have like a big dedicated table for, I mean, like cutting mats. Even if I had to do that, if I have to cut mats, I have to take everything out into the living room and just like work on the floor out there and then clean it all up right away, and everything's a big process. And when I was hanging some work in the library last month, in an area library, I had to do all of that in the living room. Like spread out, could frame, how many, 32, 33 pieces, mat and frame them all. They weren't big, but still, it's just having some place to even just set things while I'm working on them. If you can make it work well, there's an incredible amount of efficiency to being able to, like, workspace, workspace, workspace. All from, like, just standing right here. But you gotta be really on top of staying organized, and I'm very terrible at that. Okay. Am I really covering up? I really am. Okay. I do this better. Get the camera, how to approach. Kind of like that, maybe? A little? Yeah, I've been toying around with the thought of making that change for a little while. And the only thing that has been stopping me is that that there's no leg space over here. But I've been doing artwork over here anyway all this time, so I don't think it will bother me too much. I think I will be able to manage it. Just thinking if I can do this any differently. Not really at the moment. Mary Beth, hello! Would rotating the canvas help with those vertical lines? We can give that a try. I'm gonna try to knock down that, not to knock down this camera, which is just sitting there, so bear with me a moment. Only hit the mic, that's all. Okay. Okay, here we go. Maybe. Maybe. Didn't break anything. We can give that a try. Does it look really trippy? All right, let's give this a go. The question is, will it confuse me? Yeah, we'll be fine. I think. You sound like me when I use my living dining room as a photography studio. No space for lights. I know, lighting, and it's a constant battle with lighting. Having built that kind of arch light to go over here helps a lot, but it doesn't help for working like on a big piece like this. It works better if I'm working like more flat on something or something much smaller. So this needs like the big studio lights. There's one right behind over my shoulder here. Yeah, it's always a battle. And it's so much more of a pain to get going with your creative projects when it's like complete setup and tear down every single time too. It just becomes those extra layers of like resistance. There's just that much more effort you have to put towards it that make it difficult sometimes. But Morbid, if you are still there listening, I'm curious to know how your book project is going. Good, spotty. Internet is spotty here in the North Woods, here for a week. Oh, nice. that sounds amazing, Mary Beth. Hope you're able to enjoy and relax and have some creativity. Okay. Sorry, just a moment where I'm like digesting what's happening on the broader scale. That takes a wee bit of brain power. Does anyone else have it where they complete a big setup or achieve getting something sorted in order to start a project, and then when it's done, you're like, nope, I'm done, and walk away? Yeah. It's like that switching of mindset from this task, and now you got to do something completely different, which was the primary goal, so probably the biggest energy output that you were working towards. Either you lose interest or you just lose the energy for it. Absolutely. By the way, at my makerspace, there will be a pirate shirt sewing class on Saturday, September 30th. Nice. Your book was a failure? What do you mean it was a failure? How could it be a failure? I'm sorry that it feels to be a failure. Workshop. Our cabin is on the lake. Fantastic. Just came in for a walk. Dodging falling acorns. Oh, nice. Are you like up in Door County or something? I know there's some pretty good art workshops can happen up there. Up in the peninsula. It's gotta be pretty about now up north. Probably trees are changing more so faster than they are here. But I am starting to see some color in the trees. And I love fall. From a walk. Or said I'm moving in, right? After working in publishing for over 10 years, books are so hard to get traction for. The book was denied in all ways and I lost motivation. Oh, I'm sorry. Sometimes though, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a failure. It might just mean that there's just a little bit more work to do. And I understand losing motivation when you get denials, trust me. So many rejections. So many rejections when you're an artist or a creative of any kind. It really can be very demotivational, but all that it means is it wasn't right for that person or that you're just not quite ready yet. It's one or the other. And either way, please don't let it stop you from working on creative things that you love. If you have a story to tell that's in you, that's important, it's worth it to work at it and get it out into the world as you can. It's hard to get published. Hey. Yeah, I hope you keep at it as well. It's a very, very hard thing to break into. I know, and it's really hard to not get demotivated. I mean, just trying to get that kind of traction with artwork is very similar. Submit to galleries and calls for art and opportunities, and yeah, you know, most responses are rejections. across the board for a really long time. And it's so hard not to spiral. It can be so hard when, if you like get a few of those, especially right in a row on something you've been working really hard on. Man, I have been there and I know. I love the E. It might come together in the end. What am I stepping on? Nothing. I just have weird carpeting. Is it weird to prefer painting barefoot? Like in general, we tend to not wear shoes in the house, but I always have like house shoes, slippers, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, this is the one time when, like, throw them off. Just feet in the ground. Up at Dillman's Bay Resort. Lac de Flambeau. Flambeau. Okay, I'm not familiar with it. White Sands Lake. Tree colors are amazing. Sounds fantastic. There is a strong part of me that just would be like, give me a cabin far away from everybody by a lake with lots of windows. Lots of windows and beautiful light for creating artwork. And the world never has to hear from me again. That is a part of me, but also, I don't know. I do, like connection with humans too. Fair, I also made music on YouTube, but I was not that good. I'm taking writing classes now. Well, you gotta try a lot of things, and you know what? Good or not, you only get good by doing it. So, yeah, try everything, and just who cares if you're good or not? Just do what you like to do. You're gonna get good if you keep doing it. Yeah, keep at it. Absolutely. Try all the things, and anything that speaks to you is worth working at. Yep, I might just stay. Yeah, right? Oh, man. Especially this time of year. This is my favorite time of year. I love the fall. I'm not covering up the painting so much when I'm working now, am I? I hope. Yeah, fall is without a doubt my favorite thing ever. Actually went to a local apple fest this last weekend. Shockingly few apples at an apple fest. I'm completely just winging it with this hand lettering stuff. It's a little bit weird and all over the place, but it's kind of working for me. Okay. Honestly, I think I'm good at shooting guns, so... Oh my. Something I've never done. Long Grove, all houses, no apple orchards. Yeah, I guess at some point in time, yes, that was it. At some point in time, there was some big apple thing there. Business of some sort, processor or whatever. But yeah, not a whole lot of anything right now. It's hot. Get some cold seltzer water to keep me cool. Yeah, it was just a nice, nice weather over the weekend, so looking for something to do outside. It's too loud. Too many people. Too people-y. And I didn't even get any apple cider donuts out of the situation. Shooting guns is what I'm best at other than cooking. Well, cooking is good. I can appreciate. That's something that I can speak to much more than guns. I mean, you get something tasty out of it in the end, right? That's the best part. Okay, I know, I keep doing that, and it probably looks weird, but I'm just checking. Gonna throw up my neck and back painting this. I'm basing the word is here, the lettering for that, off of the other is that I did. Making apple muffins right now? Heck yeah! That sounds amazing. There are some pretty good apple orchards around, especially if I head back out towards where I grew up, which isn't so far away. I usually try to go at least once a year. I try to eat pretty well, but man, apple cider donuts. Gotta get a bunch of those at least once a year. And they'll usually have other things like seasonal squash and, well, apples. No apple cider donuts would have off, right? I think that there were, but they were like sold out or something. Your internet is behind. Yeah, I can imagine being up north that it's probably not as good. Love your earrings. Oh, thank you. I got these from some craft fair in the city a couple years back. I couldn't tell you who the actual vendor was at this point in time. But I bought them, I think it was at the Chicago Artisan Market. I haven't been back to that one for a few years. Trying to remember if I've been back there since like the pandemic shut down. I want to say no. So it's probably been a while that I've had them. I only have a handful of earrings at this point that I seem to tolerate very well for whatever the metals are. I guess I'm pretty sensitive to especially nickel, which is not so uncommon, of course. So thus far, these earrings have been okay for me. We'll just have to see as they age if there's a finish on them that wears away and or whatever. Who knows? And I know that I could order a bunch of like titanium, what do you call it? Posts and things and change them myself on different earrings. It's just another thing to do. Always things to do. Maybe one day. I just keep going back to my piercing guy, because all the earrings that they use for that are generally like implant grade titanium, so that you don't react to them. That was a random thing that I did a deep dive on not that long ago, about metals and jewelry and what could I actually use without not having to worry about it. So you would think like stainless steel would be alright. That's got nickel in it. At least some. Even surgical steel isn't like completely hypoallergenic. I was from Michigan. Want to guess the place I moved? Hint, in the South. Michigan to... if I had to guess, in the South, Louisiana? 3 tries? Uh-oh. There's new glasses. No! This is an old pair. I still haven't gotten my new glasses. Which is also probably why I keep like looking really close to the canvas too. One of these days I'll get that done. This is one of the pairs, because when I got my glasses, I ordered them from the online place, Zenny, and they were so cheap that I got like 3-4 pairs. Because I thought maybe they weren't good, they'd break on me, so then, you know, for the half the price of what I pay for another pair of glasses at anywhere else, I just like, whatever, I'll order like 4 pairs, and hopefully between the 4 pairs they'll last. And they're all just fine. I've had them for 2.5 years, is when I got these glasses, and New Orleans? No kidding. Woo! Love it. I was in New Orleans once. I loved it. It's beautiful, both a beautiful and tragic city. Shocked I got that right. I'm not usually a very good guesser of things. But that's awesome. I love the architecture and oh my gosh, the food. You can go and see Nicolas Cage's tomb that he bought for himself, or monument or whatever. It's a weird dude. You have, oh, Jim has relatives in Louisiana. Fan of rose gold and black onyx. Oh, are you referring to Okay. I lost my train of thought. Apologies, guys. You know me. Completely lost the train of conversation there. It's hard to concentrate on more than one thing at a time, sometimes. At least for me. I'm good at multitasking if nothing has to be done today. Okay, now I need a G to fit in here. Let's see, what shall we do with the next word and not fall over the chair that is behind me? Madness is genius. The next word is genius. I need a G here. And then the rest continues. Genius. Okay. Okay, I got it. No, I don't. I got it. Maybe. Gotta go. Oh, bye, Morbid. Thanks for stopping in. It was good to chat. You wonder if I know what I am doing? The answer is no. I saw an article this week. It was like a psychology thing. It was mentioning how they thought that horror movies are exploitive words of mental health issues, of people with mental health issues. And I had to stew on that a little bit. I'd like to dig into that a little bit more because obviously you guys know I love me some horror movies. That's like my go-to thing for when I want to just chill and relax and not think about anything. And I've often wondered why that is, and you sometimes see the description of it being like it's a safe place to explore the darker sides within ourselves, our fears, maybe our traumas a little bit, just a safe space to process those things. And I think on top of that, there's also, as somebody who also has ADHD, there is like the natural craving of dopamines and things that you kind of lack. Hence the always looking for novelty. So there was a discussion about how it can give you some of those hits of dopamines with the scares and things, although nothing... I mean, if they surprise me, I'll jump. And it annoys me when that happens. I don't like jump scares, but... Or they're often cheap in my book, but yeah, it's interesting. I think it's a combination of a lot of factors. I like it when it talks about things that are smart. I like it when it talks about like the movie I mentioned that I just saw, The Red Door. Insidious, Red Door. It talked about trauma. That's the kind of thing that I enjoy when they can use the horror element to talk about something that matters. And I can think, like, all of my favorite ones are movies that do that. Is that why I love horror thriller? Because of the neurospicy. I've always loved the psychology aspect of it. Maybe. That's what I'm always curious about, and I'm always trying to I'm always looking for somebody to have an explanation of why it's like a comforting thing, and I always just want to watch them. Ironically, for as popular as like crime stuff is, like true crime documentaries and things, I don't enjoy that. That is like, it's real. There's no escapism in that. It's just talking about how horrible people can be and the terrible things that they do to each other. That doesn't do anything positive for me at all. It, if anything, probably stresses me out a little bit. I don't enjoy that. I can enjoy the story and the fact that there's some like story and artistry, there's some writing. Sometimes it's very bad, but somebody's trying to make something, and if it's good, somebody's trying to say something. And also the bad stuff is kind of really funny and you can get good laughs out of, but yeah, it's a curious thing. And I can see some of the idea of it being exploitive if they're talking about like kind of crappy movies, and I've seen enough of them to know they exist, where like there's a character or an element about it where it's just like the crazy person, they're just crazy or whatever. That's kind of, that can, I think, can be exploitive. And you see, I think, a little less of that thanks to just general awareness more that exists now, more so than there used to. There's still a lack, but it's better than it has been when you look at past eras. So looking back at, 80s, 90s, especially like 80s and 90s, there's definitely a kind of ignorance of it and just using it as a crutch occasionally in storytelling. Although they still sneak by every now and again. I never finished watching The Visit, which is M. Night Shyamalan's, one of his movies from the last, 5 years or something. That is one that you could definitely argue walks the line about they're funny and scary because they're crazy, and what kind of crazy are they? Like, none of it makes any sense, and it's like making fun of people a little bit and using them as like, oh, they're, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, the whole thing behind that, I guess, maybe. Try not to, and some of it shouldn't be taken all that seriously, of course, too, but it just is something that I enjoy, and I'm always curious about why that happens to be the case. What is it that draws me? And it's not only me, because it's a conversation that happens. Yeah, Shyamalan can't be taken seriously at all, but he tries. He does try. I did not watch Old. Just couldn't muster the interest. Couldn't muster the interest to care. Of all of the movies of his, the only one that I think that I would maybe go back and watch is, that I haven't seen yet, is Glass? Is it called Glass? The one where the character from Unbreakable and Split, they were together. And I don't know if I haven't sought it out in particular, because part of me doesn't expect it to be very good, but I'd watch it. I'd check it out. I'd be willing to check that out. All right. Let's get another line going here. Where are we at? 8:11. Just over an hour. Well, when you consider how much time I take getting set up and mixing my paint, probably about an hour of painting. Approximately. Okay. My, you can see, my paint is not very fluid anymore. And I could add more of the medium, but I don't want to dilute it any further. My potato mountain needs to be built. I'm off to have a close encounter. Have an amazing weekend, everyone. Catch you Thursday. It was good to see you, Airset. Have a great day, right? I think. I can't ever remember how that. Anyway, yes. Have a good one. I'll see you Thursday, I hope. Okay. So, yes. Next line. I think all of this is dry, so I don't have to worry about having my hand over there. Outstanding. I keep trying to check and make sure I'm not blocking the camera from me actually being able to see what I'm doing. I do think I will take some time to move things around this week. Yep, 11 a.m. here. Good memory, bye. Thought that was the case. But I don't have a good memory. Like for watching movies, I actually have an app that I use. I don't know if anybody else does this sort of thing. Letterboxd. It's kind of a nice way to like track your movies that you've seen. You can like write a little review or rate them. You can have like a watch list of the things you want to see. And I do that because I just won't remember. Otherwise, like books that I'm reading, I'll be able to remember because if I possess them, I can always go look at what I have and be like, oh, this was the title, it was by so-and-so. But having watched a movie on streaming, unlikely to remember. Especially when it's like, oh, somebody asked me, hey, what are some good movies that you've seen recently? I have to go look. Hold on, let me pull up my app. And then you can actually sort what you've seen by your ratings on them too, which is kind of cool. It sort of functions sort of like an IMDb, where you can look up some of the information about movies and reviews and stuff. Reviews that other people have left. I find it to be helpful. I know I have a friend who has an app kind of like that. He's a craft beer connoisseur, so he does that with his beers when he tries a new one. Logs it, rates it, takes photo, adds it in his app. So I imagine there's probably an app like that for many, many things. And there is, like, for reading, good reads. But like I said, I never really... I think I probably do have an account that goes back to ages ago. I think I do, but... But I haven't really kept up with that because most of the books I read, I have rented some from library to read, and then because I am me, I often don't get them finished. And so I usually just do that on my phone because having to take physical books back is the whole thing. So I just get the digital versions and do the worst thing ever, try to read it on a screen that big, but I have read entire books that way. Then I wonder why I need glasses. Okay. Yep. We're still right. I haven't misspelled the word yet. Haven't skipped a letter yet. Knock on wood. It's never a for sure thing. I've done that before. That's why I say that. You get so caught up in like doing the things that you just skip a letter altogether or miss or do something dumb. I've done that more than once. That's really the worst part of it. More than once. Having to copy edit yourself is a real thing. The worst thing for me with having to check my own stuff, you know, for errors, is I have a tendency to not see the errors because you're so like sucked into the little things and that's what you're looking at. That's mostly what you see. Your eyes just skip it. Your brain just skips it. So not the worst thing if you are anything like me that way to get another pair of eyes. The rate I'm going, by the time I finish this, I should probably be about an expert in lettering. I mean, or not, but for real. And I'm okay with continuing until I get to that point where it's like I can't maintain a steady line. Okay. I have reached a point with this brush where I need a little refresh. I'm about having to reorder my my brush soap. I like the Masters one that comes in like a bar or a tub. And I might just like, man, it's like going to the grocery store. You have to break things down by the ounce. Is it really a better price to buy the big thing? It is by a long shot. I'm probably just going to have to, I'm going to bite the bullet and buy the really big tub of the soap, because then it'll probably last me my lifetime, maybe. Or a year, I don't know. And I just don't have to worry about trying to dish it out and make it last for a long time. Okay, let me just put this one aside, wash it after the stream, and just have a fresh brush in general. And I'm gonna take a sip of some bubbly water for a second. Refreshing. Okay. Where were we? Genius. The word genius. G-E-N. Okay. Where do we go? Okay. I have a plan. I don't really. It's fine. It's all good. The relative evenness of my lines is impressing me. I'm generally the kind of person that can't even draw a straight line with a ruler. In general, I have so many paintings that are in various stages of not quite done that I would like to make sure that I'm really knocking a few of them off my list this week. That is my goal. One of my goals. You gotta have a few because I'll forget. So hopefully I achieve something. But yeah, I'd like to get some of these things rocking so I can start some new stuff also. A lot of random ideas for potential new pieces, new things to do. But I would definitely like to clear a few things off of the easels first. So the self-portrait that I worked on I was working on several streams ago, I have done a little bit more work on. I did decide to start adding some collage elements onto it. And it's sort of at a stage where I just need to kind of finish like the background painting part of it to incorporate all those elements into the actual piece properly. So it's pretty close to being done. That's one that I'd like to finish this week. And I don't know, I'll show it when I finish it. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. But I've been trying to get back into to getting into the habit. Pardon me, sorry. Of like sending out emails, like news about what I'm working on, if I finish new stuff, if I have new products, if I have events or anything like that happening. I'm being much better about sending them out from time to time. So if you have any interest, I would encourage you to sign up for my email list, which I think I have a link on my homepage, or the page of my channel page. There is a link to do so, and I'm working at sending out about two newsletters a month, so it's not like insane. I don't have that much to say to constantly cram up your inbox, but just like the news and interesting tidbits, what's going on. I am working on some new products I'm pretty excited about. I'm assuming everything turns out how I have imagined it in my mind, which is always, I don't know, art rarely ever does exactly that. But yeah. Yes. Anyway, yes. Sign up for my email newsletter. Talk a little bit better when I'm writing things. I don't skip over myself and trip over my words and lose track of thought. Or at least if I do, I've worked it all out before I've sent the email, so yeah. Not quite so scatterbrained when I do those. I'm liking how this word's going. How about that? Coming along okay. Have the most random song in my head? Maybe it's not. A couple weeks ago, nieces were over and we did a movie day with them, and we like to show them some kind of classics, like, you know, from the 80s, and such. And we watched Lost Boys, which is a great movie, and I have the main song from that stuck in my head. Not the greased up saxophone player one. The Cry Little Sister. Oh, it's so goth. How's it looking? Kind of hard to tell when it's sideways, but you know, more or less. Yeah, It's okay. Need another. At the beginning of the stream, I'm like, I should be able to get this done in like 2 hours, right? And here I am. It's an hour and a half, and I should finish 2 lines. Sometimes that's how it goes. You know, if you're, it's not the worst thing to take your time and, you know, try not to make a ton of mistakes on things, but yeah. I might swap this painting out to do a different one for a little while after this stream, just to shake things up. And, you know, like I said, I have quite a few that need to get done, so no shortage of projects to be working on. Yeah, that song is an earworm. If you haven't heard it, just look it up. It's so 80s. And of course, the cover of People Are Strange, the Doors song. Is it the Pet Shop Boys that does the cover? I think. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. Sorry, trying not to cover up what I'm painting on as I'm painting it. This painting is a whole lot of really good practice for doing this kind of lettering on a painting. And I'm sure there's better techniques, probably. Again, I don't have the most fluid paint, and I don't have a liner brush, but working with what I got. And if I should believe the source of my quote, it did not have a comma. The Oxford comma, right? Wouldn't that be the Oxford comma if it came here? It wasn't listed there. But I don't know if that's just like a stylistic thing that's been edited or what over time, you know? For now, I'm gonna leave it off. I'll have to do some more looking into it. As if it really matters, but you know. Okay. I need... Should we go full ampersand for my and? Or... This is where... I always write the ampersand backwards. A little bit of dyslexia comes out on that one still. So we are gonna just use... I'm just gonna go with the way that I had it drawn initially. So I'm glad that I mixed a little extra paint and that I used a little jar so I can cover it up and not have to redo it again when I come back to finish all of that. I will probably... When is it? 8:36. Oh, there's a documentary, Sign Painters, about how hand-painted signage was replaced by vinyl sign cutters and the people reviving the art of hand painting and hand lettering signs. Yeah, every now and again I'll see like job listings for that. And I've always blown away by seeing like the people who do like pinstriping on vehicles and that sort of painting by hand, where they just have these, they have the long liner brushes, but my God, what a steady hand. They're just doing it. And it's these beautiful flowing lines. And oh man, a lot of respect to that, because I don't think any amount of practice would get me there. So I have a lot of respect for the people who can be so exacting and really master that as a skill. Beautiful stuff. Yeah, I have some old posters in my kitchen. They're quite old. 1918. They are from a Chicago butcher, an old Chicago butcher. I can't remember exactly. It's sort of thing that's, it's been hanging there so long that you just don't even read it anymore. But they are these hand-painted illustration posters. Like, it's showing different cuts. There's two of them. There's one for beef, one for pork, and it's not even that I'm like a big meat person. I just think they're so beautiful. There are these gray blues and all these pinks, and the lettering is all painted in, all of it, where it like explains all the different cuts, and it's the big like header type areas to the body, and then the stuff at the, like, it's all hand painted, and it's just beautiful. And I got them framed. One of the few things that I've actually finished getting framed here. Ages ago, when we moved into this place, that was like one of the first things I did. I found those on... Did I get them on eBay? And I remember back in the day when like Craigslist, I don't know, is Craigslist still a thing? Craigslist, I was where I had originally found them from somebody in the area selling them. And I really wanted them, but they were asking some money for them because they're these old things that are in quite good condition. It's money. I'm talking, I think it was like $80 for the pair. And I hemmed and hawed about it for a while, and then the listing was gone. So I'm like, I wonder if I can find something like that, if not that, somewhere else. Like probably not the only ones that were printed. I found the exact same listing had moved to, the person who has selling them moved them to eBay. And I got them there for the same amount of money and had them framed. And now they're some of the very little bits of artwork that hangs in my kitchen dining room area, just because there's not a lot of wall space. But yeah, I love them. They're just... It's the hand painted element of it that's just so beautiful. The typography. Much more masterfully done than anything that I am doing or could do. Oh, there's Watson Cat right behind me here. That's funny. He's been fighting a bit of a respiratory thing. My poor guy. He's been having lots of sneezes and a little lethargic, but he's looking better today, so. Anyway, yeah, I'll have to check out that documentary. That sounds pretty cool. Oh, I can like hear his congestion when he breathes, poor guy. He just been a little like needy and very tired, not much energy, poor guy. Okay. But at this point, an hour and 40 minutes into the stream, I have finished 2 more rows of text. Of course, I did spend some time fussing around with some of the other stuff. I think I'm gonna stop here. Before I just start another line, I'll just let everything get good and dry. Cover up my paint so it doesn't dry out. And continue working at it. Okay, yeah, I think that is the plan, and I'll probably switch it out. So on Thursday during my stream, I will do something different just to keep things interesting for myself and y'all. I'm not just gonna paint letters for weeks on end on this painting. But anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Well, I chip away at this guy. It's getting there, making progress, feeling good. Feeling good. Yep. So yeah, everybody have an amazing night or day if you are not anywhere near me. And hopefully I'll see you on Thursday. Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody.